I'm gonna record from this area right here. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about beta male secrets. In this video, basically, I'm gonna show you the guidelines for how you can attract female attention and get the attention from your fellow brothers, and by brothers I mean homies, so they can see your power that you have, your intelligence, your strength, and in a new way where you don't have to really be the pro alpha character. You can just be who you are. But the only way to do this is to be linked to a somewhat imperative structure, which you're bound to constantly. And that imperative structure is personal development 2, which is linked directly to the beta male persona. Now, the beta male persona is a new attribute. Let's say in real life, a guy wants to go attract a woman. He goes to a library or a coffee shop and just curiously starts a random conversation with the girl. Doesn't have to be random. Or random conversation with a guy, it doesn't matter, because my advice is for everyone, every gender, doesn't matter. But you start having conversation, and you just talk about anything on your mind. Make it wild, make it crazy, make it normal. Not even normal, just talk, say hi, have conversation. You don't have to get the number, you don't have to do any of that. That was the old way. That was the alpha way, where you would get the number and plan a date, plan a meeting with the person, and you would go out. And when going out, you would have fun. Go to a bowling alley or go somewhere else. But that leads you to one place, and it's probably in the alpha's eyes, the bedroom, because it always leads there in their eyes. But there's a different perspective, and it's similar, but not exactly the same. It's a beta perception. You hone in the abilities that you have as a beta, where you're weak, where you're seen as less than the others. You're more of a pack animal, or a pack human, or something like that, and you follow orders, or you're a helper, supporter, and you're like, I'm tired of this. I don't even want to be an alpha. I want to stay beta, but get to where I want to go. And what is this? A different type of betterment. A different type of relationship perspective. You're seeking out complexity and not linearity. You don't want to be that alpha because you already know where it led to. Toxicity, in a way. Not exactly toxicity, just an embrace of total decay, where you're reaching for the top and then you fall, and reach for it again and fall, and it's a repetitious program that doesn't really lead you anywhere, and you still follow it somehow in your mind, but it's in the background. It's background noise, because that was the past. That was a beta. It's a bit different. You hone in your weakness as strength, kind of like a binary bit, 0 and 1 twisted. Instead of reading right to left, it's left to right binary, and it creates strings like that. The language is non-linear. 1 + 1 = 5 in it. It's weird. It doesn't really make much sense, but that's how it works. That's why numbers don't really work in the overhaul. But the key here is that the beta structure, once revealed for how it works, you see the weakness as strength. You see the desires and the sins that you have as strength. Not because you're becoming that sin, but because you're intentionally revealing what's hidden in that stasis. You see, there is a false apparition that is shown sometimes in life, and you need to reverse the structure, reverse the polarity to see how it actually works. And that reveals the second tree. The second tree of life, that was also the tree of death, Kitloth tree, which is the second tree of life. When you do that again, you reveal the third. But actually, when you reveal the second, it goes in deep. Or maybe it doesn't. Do you connect back to source? Do you do all that stuff? That's just mysticism as part of it. But as a beta male, you do everything you want. And you do it in a good way. You're not doing it to spread peace. You're not doing it... You're chaotic. You're complex. Why do you want a relationship? Why do you want a marriage? Why do you want something more than a marriage? Why do you want to be better than better? Because better is not enough, right? But the idea of better is, what the heck is better? I define what better is, but who is the I that defines what better is? I don't care of the I that defines what better is, because I have a different I that I believe in. That's not the I that you think the I is. And that creates a self-impending modular sequence of I's that you can never really tell which one is you, because you're always flipping character, always changing who you are. So, exactly. But by doing this, imagine this, so the beta male cannot grow as powerful as the alpha. And be like the alpha. Be more than the alpha. And then realize this whole system is dumb. This hierarchical system, but it's necessary because it's the only way we can really think about life in the modern age. Because the mind is so incredibly fragile that it compels to these structures. That's why we need non-hierarchical structures. That's why we need different systematic perceptions. That's why we need 2D money. That's why we need 3D, 4D, all those types of money. That's why we need pi radial spiral, all this stuff that I forgot about over the months and months. I have a lot of structures that I'm able to focus on, but I don't focus on them all the time because I follow a plan. I always have a plan. Even if I don't have a plan, I have a plan. So what happens with the beta male getting the things he wants? Well, it's kind of like the law of attraction, except it's not exactly like the law of attraction. It's the law of innovation. The law of opportunistic structure. It's a motor built by positive and negative perception in a graph. It actually focuses on positive and negative aspects and propels it into further multidimensional models, multidimensional hypergraphical structures that show the next step, the previous step, and where you came from and where you're going. Hypergraphical structure is necessary, and it's going to be implemented. That's my structure called non-language. Something that comes from nothing and creates structure. It's cool. Anyways, what else do you want to know? we're talking right now because this is an interactive field, temporal internet. You can surf the web right here, go on Google, type it down in your head. Type down what you want, use the mouse key, click, drop, all that stuff. Do it all around here. The HUDs are over here where you can present your XP, MP, health bar, all that stuff. It's right there. And it's going to be implemented when I actually create that HUD in beautiful Outlook for the video. More talking about BetaMail life. Well, it's not about popularity. It's about multi-complexity, where why are we friends? What is the reason that we have friendship? The friendship isn't just, you have to ask those questions to your friends. Be like, why are we friends? Is there a reason why we're friends? Can we make our friendship more stronger? What is the purpose? And then realize purpose is not just always there for certain. Why do you want a girl in your life? Why do you want all that stuff? You have to ask those questions. Why do you want money? And the money you want, what type of money do you want? Because there's a whole bunch of different types of structural money that can be implemented, and it will. So here's an example of how a BetaMail would talk to a girl. Alright, he's walking. He's approaching the mall. Goes up to Ross. Buys clothes. Talks to the cash register lady. She's probably the same age, like 22. He's like, hey, it's a great day, but isn't there more to look for? More to see? JK, I'm not that complex, but I am complex in a way. But how's your day going? I bet it's going pretty fine, right? But I'm just gonna head somewhere. I'm gonna go with my friends somewhere. We're gonna have fun. Hopefully, we get to hang out sometime. But if not, it's fine. But and make it cunning. Make it a little cunning, Make it like you're not actually seeking anything, but you're talking from your heart, and you're saying your poetry that you have, but you're trying to be a leader. That's the thing about BetaMail. You're a leader, so you have to be stronger, and you have to use the strength to actually be stronger than what you are. Use that strength to create what you want. The BetaMail structure is different because it's a different type of betterment. Instead of betterment as speed, innovation, it's recalibration and remodification, focusing on inflated values rather than straightforward lines, focusing on deflated values, focusing on different types of systems, different type of algorithms, and different ways of communicating. Also about being different characters day to day, because we're not just one character, we're many. We're not the same. Anyways, that's all I have to say for now. There'll be more videos out today.